Hey, you been over to Touch Body Works yet? Go to Touch Body Works at evoketouch.com. That's EVOKE touch.com. With skincare products that's so natural, you can eat it. But don't.
Intro already, man.
I gotta wait for the thing to cue. Man, this is a part of it. This is a part of it. Every show got some pre-show
We're still working
shit.
out the kinks.
Because
you can't.
top notch yet.
Because now y'all talking, I can really level this
You
out.
can't intro in it for like the first 22 minutes. No. big
Nah,
deal.
we got what? We about a minute. We a minute from the intro. Golly. I still got to figure out. So basically, y'all just being about people being sensitive and shit.
Man, anything. I think there's a lot of oversensitivity that's going on. Definitely. I think there's a lack of understanding of like basic principles of the human mind.
Man, you been
How it
posting a lot
works.
of shit lately too. Let me pull
Pull up some
my
shit.
Facebook.
Pull up some of my shit.
up
No,
your
we
Facebook.
usually get deep in talking about that with social media, the internet. The post you made last night, man, I want to throw my hands up. I was like, dude, that's about the Will Smith, what he said about racism isn't getting worse. It's getting that recorded.
Right. And I think it applies to everything. Though.
Everything, man.
I
That's
think it
so
applies,
fucking true.
you're going to see the worst ends of human behavior much more prevalently because that's what we want to show people.
Yeah.
Like that's drama. That's,
Yeah.
We want to see the worst of ourselves.
Fear self.
I know they mad. They can't stop. Number one soundtrack in America. Black on. The number one movie from making records. Making the whole wow. VHS soundtrack. Told y'all to run the movie. Told y'all I'm gonna show y'all how to clean your dirty money up with good money. Invest into yourself. You heard?
Uh-oh. This is the I'm Kinda Famous podcast. I'm your host, Lester Rowe. New week, new episode. This is episode 56 of the I'm Kinda Famous podcast. KindaFamousPod.com, KINDA FamousPod.com, the new official website for the podcast because I got sick of saying all them damn links and plugs. So everything you need to know about the show is right there.
One more time for the
But make sure you go to Facebook. Huh?
For the people in the back, one more time. What's the website?
Kinda Famous Pod, KINDA FamousPod.com.
Okay.
iTunes, Google Music, anywhere you listen to podcasts, that's where you go. But everything, some bits and pieces that we talk about on the show will be on the website. So you get more media, more content will be there. Also, Facebook.com/KindaFamousPod. That's where what we're doing now. We got the live stream going. I can't do comments, or maybe I don't know. I'm not too concerned about comments. We talking. We having a conversation. We in the moment. I got two guests today. 4:20. So I'm recording. Wow.
Smoker's lungs. Smoker's lungs. Sorry.
I generally don't record the same day as I put the show out, but I guess that's what we're gonna do this time. First, before I get to the superstar here in the room, Julian, a researcher, got him on. We're gonna talk. This is gonna be, I think we're gonna disagree a lot, and I'm okay with that. Or I'm gonna make us disagree. So, got Julian, a researcher. Why don't you tell people a little about what you do?
Yeah, I do a lot of internet-related research, looking at on how internet activity and internet usage shapes people's behavior. So that's pretty much my realm.
Do you use Pornhub for your research?
It depends what time it is. After 11 o'clock usually.
And we got Dave, the Caveman Rickels, who's on his way to
London.
Bellator 200.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
or that. Bellator
Yo,
200
check it,
for
yeah.
a big fight.
You
What
want
you
me to
tell
get-
us about that? Go ahead.
I'm
You
gonna
know
go
what
ahead
you're
and
doing.
go in with it. I'm flying out, jumping the pond. I'm gonna whip the shit out of some karate pants wearing dude, and it's gonna be a good night, man. He's kind of an untested prospect in Bellator. Obviously, the man's got skills, but I got skills too. So I'm excited to get in there. I think I'm gonna beat the hell out of him. That's Bellator 200. So check it out.
When?
This is May 25th. Is a scrap.
Wow. He barely remembered. Where at? That's the more important part.
Where at? London.
What
Across
you
the
say like
pond.
we
Across the
I was
pond,
supposed to just
son.
know. London, England.
London, England.
You excited for that?
I'm excited because Mirko Kokop's on the card.
Man, that card is stacked.
Yeah, it's like the biggest card of Bellator history. So it's only right that they put the OG on the card.
Now, what else are you running at for that in that fight? You got a couple records or
Running.
a record?
Oh, shoot, man. I got this cool thing where it all just lined up, man. Like, it's just like the stars are lining up. This will be my 20th fight for Bellator, okay? And then this, when I whip his ass, it's going to be my 20th win. So, yeah, it's going to be a good night.
Now, is that the most wins, or what are we looking at?
We're looking at the most I'll be, I think, tied for second with most wins, but this will be the most appearances for Bellator, period.
I think it should be more exciting that you fighting overseas than anything. Isn't that your first time fighting?
Well, it's been my dream for a really long time, man. Like, dude, I used to me and Joe nicknamed ourselves the Road Warriors. Like, we would always just travel
Animal
and
and Hawk.
fight, and man, we drove to a lot of places to get in scraps and flew out to Tampa and all over the place. So, yeah, we're back on the road again.
Now we are 2 weeks from EFC 8. How'd you feel about that night of fights?
Dude, they were dope. We had a couple crazy knockouts, really good fights. The main event was insane. One of the best, I say local fights, but man, you could have put that fight on any level and people would have been entertained. So,
What was your favorite fight of the night?
Carrillo and LaVille, because watching there, it was a toss up for me. I didn't know who won. I thought Cody had the first two for sure. Third went to LaVille, and then the last two were kind of a toss-up as well.
What about you? What did you think?
I'd say that same fight, Carrillo fight, Louisville.
I don't know why I ended up liking as my second favorite fight. I ended up liking Manny and
Dude, that
Hurts.
grappling was on point.
because
That's
it
probably
was
why I
fun
didn't
to
get too
watch.
much into it.
huh?
And that's probably why I didn't get too much into that one. I respect grappling, as much as anything else. But of course, I love a good stand up and bang, and that's me. As only kickboxing. I love seeing that.
I didn't I think I didn't expect that out of Kurtz because of the fight with Chris. So I thought he was a standing banger, and the fact that like they was rolling in reverse. I've never seen was a tie or whatever where basically it's like the ref just has to stand them up because
Yep.
they're grabbed.
They were stuck in a leg lace, and they were both chasing after heel hooks and ankle locks or whatever.
And I hate grappling. Like I really I don't like it that much. But that was the first time I watched it and was like, all right, this is all right little fight. Like, because I felt
it was still
wasn't
high
not-
paced though. Like, I mean, if you like to watch grappling a little bit, like they were back and forth on submissions. There was so many close times that Kurtz could have quit and gone out or whatever. Manny even got caught in a really tight armbar that hurt his arm really bad. So it was a really kind of a back and forth fight. So.
All right. So, overall? I mean, what did you think of EFC 8? I think I liked it.
Let's just go with the 1 to 10 scale. Where we at?
10. Well, I'm gonna let y'all go. Julian.
You want me? I thought it was. I mean, I think it gets better each time, and I've told you that before, Dave. I think each show gets progressively better, and that's how business model should work in that kind of sports entertainment. You
I'm
get
more.
better.
I'm more honest than that. So.
Well,
How do you know? How do you know that he's not being honest?
Yeah, I'm being 100% honest.
Are you in his head?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. I'm a researcher.
I'm the psychologist here. I'm the psychologist here, but no, I really think I give it a 10.
I would
Hell
say.
yeah.
I
Okay.
would say. No point scale in there, just straight 1 through 10. I give it about a 7.
Okay.
I give
I'll
it
take
a 7.
that.
I think the main event, or at least the main cards, have definitely been progressively better throughout. I think
For sure.
back-to-back Carrillo fights,
Yeah.
main events, like those were
Oh, crazy.
those are Bellator UFC fights in
Oh,
my opinion.
100%. Yeah.
So as long as you keep doing that,
yeah, I really believe, like, we really do have the talent here in the city. And obviously, being a local show, I have to use a lot of local talent, and I'm just really happy we've got like the core group that we do. There's a lot of talent in the city, and Cody Carrillo, Stephen Wynn finishing his guy, a real, legit opponent. That guy is legit. Had just come off some boxing wins, and he's got a good record, a much bigger record, much more experience than Stephen Wynn. So
Let's talk about that knockout.
oh, what? You just gonna cut me? Oh,
I just thought about it because I flipped through and I saw the dude and I was like, hold on.
he got knocked out pretty bad. He's a young buck. He's a young
Chris
kid.
Turner knocked out who?
Chris Turner knocked out Ryan Grant, I believe is his last name.
Ryan Matt, because I'm pretty sure he's still there. But that was ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly.
That was a full-on sleeper.
Yeah, and it's it sucks to see those sort of things happen, but it's a fight game, man. Like, shit happens, dude. Hey, he took his concussion, just like lots of motherfuckers have taken concussions in the fight game. His only thing was it looked bad because he was doing the whole seizure dance,
body
dancing,
and
still trying to fight. The body still, that's what's happening.
That's
the body's
scariest
still trying
shit,
to fight.
He's still remembering he's in the fight and he's
Right.
on the ground. Someone backstage, it was kind of funny to me. They say that's one of those fights where you say that's why you don't try MMA. You either want to do MMA or you don't, but you don't try MMA.
If that dude ever gets in the cage again, I guarantee you he'll be prepared. Because you don't step in again after that.
We're going to
not be
find
ready.
out. All right, so it's 420. A couple things are happening. Today is my father's birthday, for one. We're going to start there.
Happy
My
birthday!
father is
happy
not
birthday,
Adolf
bless his
Hitler,
pops.
so that's we got our own shit going. It's also a little smokers holiday. I don't understand how all that correlates. Because I've been trying CBD lately, so I guess this is me saying, I done jumped in the 420 game a little bit.
Is it working for you?
What do you think?
What I think I got I had a paper somewhere. I think it's placebo. I don't know. No. I know everything that's on that list about CBD or what it helps is all shit that make you drowsy. It's like, you have a problem sleeping, you can't focus, you can't do this. How about I just put you to sleep for a little bit?
I use CBD, and
Now I got the little pen.
there's like
somewhere.
a
I
lot
had
of
somewhere.
extensive research on like its effects on the brains and post concussion and brain injuries and stuff like that. So, that's why I use it, man. When I have headaches, I take CBD and it goes away.
Cause you're
That's-
high.
I'm not high.
I don't know. That's
CBD
what
don't get you high. Fool.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think because it works for your headache.
It does, yeah.
Now, what are you using? The oil or what are you using?
I use the oil
In
It's
the
called
water,
a
the-
tincture. It's just like a little droplet, like right on the tongue. Good.
That's what the lady was saying in the stores. Like you could use the water dilute or whatever, and everywhere that water is in your body, the CBD oil will go if you take it, that way or add it with water or whatever. Or you can vape, or you can. I don't know. So far, I've been doing it, and for me, as a person that's never smoked weed or anything like that, I'm not too sure if I'm too sold just yet. But I'm gonna give it an honest effort to see if it works. I'm gonna switch over to the oil and see what that does.
That brings a good question with that. Then this is a question I always give my students off that example. You said a placebo. Are you sure it's not a nocebo? It's a real term.
I don't know what that means.
So a nocebo is you went into it with the mindset that this may or may not work. Erring heavier on the side of that, it may not work. You can have a headache and take ibuprofen and really convince yourself that it's not going to cure that headache, and it won't. It's a nocebo effect.
Nah, well, for me, I don't think so because I went in going, okay, if medicinal marijuana and cannabis use is a real thing, this should work because I'd never taken it. So I didn't go in thinking this was like bullshit. I just wanted to see if it was or because it should have some effect. Now, I don't expect it to work the first 2-3 times, but I know because I don't take like Vicodin and stuff. What is that called?
Painkillers?
Yeah, but like the
Opiates.
what'd you say?
Opiates.
Like opiates, because I'm pretty much detoxed out of that. if I take one now, it's like boom. Before I had a much higher tolerance. I could take 3, 4, and then it's starting to work. With me never having this in me ever, I kind of wanted to expect it to work quicker, but I said I'll give it 30 days. I'll use it for 30 days. I use the whole CBD treatment for 30 days and hope I don't lose my job. Because they say some of it has trace THC and some of it has no THC in it. Either way, I'm just trusting them to tell me the truth.
Yeah, well, I took a drug test not long ago. One of my first drug tests for Bellator MMA.
Oh shit.
And yeah, most fights in Bellator history, and I just had my first drug test. So I think
why are you doing drug tests?
They're testing for steroids and crystal meth probably and all sorts of shit.
But just a random one?
Yeah, it was random. They were like, "Hey, you have 3 days to make it in to go take this test."
The hell?
Yeah, I've never.
Are they with you?
They see my muscles on Instagram, bro, and they were just like, "Oh shit,
we better test that."
Caveman coming for that dude. Hey, we in trouble out here.
He's on
All
that
right.
Duraball, D-ball, whatever it is.
They're like, "Damn, he's swole."
You have yet to tell us the results.
I passed. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought the test was supposed to be negative.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I passed. I don't know what. Like, they were like, "You're cool, Caveman. You can fight. Go have fun.
Keep eating that horse.
Don't destroy London."
Okay. All right. So, but also here today on 420 April 20, you got the big walkout the kids are doing for was it March for Our Lives? I'm gonna mess this up because I'm kind of I just call it.
Is that today?
Yeah, kids, Black Lives Don't Matter.
What?
That's what I call it. Like, because it's just the kid version of Black Lives Don't Matter.
Oh.
But so they're doing the walkout today conveniently on 420.
Do you feel like they're trying to overshadow Black Lives Matter?
Oh no, I think if I'm being honest, I think Black Lives Don't Matter does Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry. Does a poor job.
Bro, hey.
Does a very poor job at the marketing part of how this works. The protest part. Like, I just think it's a shit job. Like, these kids are doing a great job. It's just adults don't care what kids got to say, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean.
So they're out there doing this. They're working hard.
I understand
but
that mentality. Like, could you imagine, like, when we were kids trying to tell your parents, like, "Hey, I'm not gonna go to school today.
Right.
I'm protesting."
I'd
They'd be like,
I
"The
get
fuck
stomped-
you
I
are?"
get stomped out of the living room for that.
Oh, dude.
Well, no, they
I
went
get
to school. They just walked out at about 10 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah, but regardless, man, like, my parents were like, "Hell no.
Yeah.
Nah, you ain't doing that shit."
But I think they got good marketing. You can't really like publicly say something back against them because it's like you're picking on kids. But I think that's also the reason why they're being disregarded, because it's like, they'll get over it. They'll tire out eventually. I really did think something was going to happen.
My big thing is, like, what are they trying? Are they pushing? Is this like still the gun reform that they're pushing?
Yep.
Man, I'm gonna say something that's pretty wild. I don't think there's anything we can really do.
What about what?
I just think that regardless of what rules and shit you set, like, I mean, you can probably limit stuff and this and that, but people have been killing people for a long time, and we're fucking good at it.
Yeah, but the argument against that is always going to be look at other countries that have done something and then these things were reduced.
But a lot of people don't realize when they say look at other countries, man, we're a country that has only been here since, what, the 1700s? I mean, we're a young country compared to England, to Japan, to Australia, all these other countries that have these established laws. They've been able to have these behaviors built over, years and years, whereas, we're as only as old as slavery in America when you think about it. So right before, after colonization came slavery, we're still new. We're still experimenting with things in America.
But then that's also saying that, all right, the reason for it is because, all right, if we look at if slavery is the I don't know, the benchmark for when things change, then we're basically saying the reason why we can't do it is because black people got too free.
We can't do what?
Anything. If we say Julian's
You're
argument.
way overcomplicating.
If
it.
Julian's
like
argument
you just
is-
went way too far. Like
I was
you
using slavery as a benchmark for time, not as a.
Well, no,
As
me
a
too.
precedent.
Because you're saying that because we're the only country that's like that.
Yeah.
Like,
We're young. We're a young country.
and if we're
Behave
young,
like one too.
dude,
all right. If you're
absolutely.
saying age is an issue, and you're saying that,
I'm saying our brains are the issue.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm saying our brains are the
but
issue.
what brain? The
brain
American
in your
brain
head,
or just
bro.
overall?
I'm saying the brain overall, man. Like it's not caught up to the way of life that we're living right now.
Dude, that's so true because here, and in me, the area of psychology I study is environmental psychology, is whereas it's our behaviors result is our fit in our environment. We don't even really have an environment developed here in America. You know what I mean? We really don't even have established of what.
No,
it
we have
means.
an environment. Environment, whatever you in is the environment.
I
So,
mean, to an extent, but I mean, we're not as established as other countries. People are like, look at this other country, they're so stable. It's like, yeah, they've also been doing this since 1200. You know, since before that, America, like I said, we've only been established in an environment that we function in for 400 or 500 years when you think about it.
what did Mike turn that? Yeah, yep.
And we've been pretty freely letting it just go.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, that's something I would say is like we just kind of we're letting this country develop as it is, and that's part of the freedom.
But-
that's part of
but-
the freedom is like we have the choice to make it this or that.
Okay, so then where are we at? Because if we have the freedom to do that, then we also have the freedom to evoke the change that we want it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean,
if we
there's
want
always gonna
something to
be-
happen with guns, we could do something with, or violence, we could do something with violence.
right? And then what else is that gonna affect?
You don't ever know until you do it.
Right.
It's
There's always a cause and effect.
okay. Are we erring on that?
Do I know the answer to the effect? No, I don't.
Then why not do anything?
Go ahead, man. You ain't gonna affect my life at all. See, that's the thing. Is like, dude, the country just needs to make decisions, and what I would really like to see is the country, come together and make decisions that are everyone agrees upon. Which is just,
Okay.
man, we're just so scattered right now, and it seems like nobody really has the same kind of thinking, and we're just not on the right track per se. We're not all on the same track. We're all on like 40 different tracks.
But
we're all trying to
nobody-
accomplish 40 different social agendas and shit.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like, can we focus on one problem at a time?
Then what
Right.
problem would we start with? What if guns is the first problem we start
Masturbation.
with?
you make a good point though. I swear to God, because here's the thing: a lot of people try to recreate the wheel. It's like, no, fix the spokes first. Fix the bearings on it first. Do those small wins. We don't need to stop.
But like I keep bringing up guns because that is a spoke.
Right.
Why not? Why is that one the one we get so like? All right, like I think if people could just say I enjoy shooting shit, then we could start there. If you enjoy shooting shit, then we'll deal with you enjoying shooting shit, and we can address you directly. But to say we won't do anything because people will continue to kill people, yes. But the point of the whole gun thing is, it's a more lethal way of killing someone from a distance.
Right. So what is so as far as I know, I don't follow a lot of politics, but the gun reform is basically they want to get rid of assault rifles.
That is a spoke.
Which is
on gun
considered like
reform.
what? An AR-15? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And I tell people, man, assault rifle. Like everyone's like ban the assault rifle.
But okay,
And
then you have to ban semi-automatic weapons.
And here's the thing. The people want to ban the assault rifle because it's what's been used. But have you? AR-15 doesn't do half as much damage of things like what's called a AK-12 that you can walk in the academy and buy a AK-12 shotgun that would blow the walls off what an AR-15
yeah,
can do.
dude.
It'll rip a limb off you.
It's a
semi-automatic
start
12 gauge.
is what people. It's like a start. It's not saying. I'm not even saying. I could care less one way or another if a person owns a gun or not. But I think the bigger argument is that we start with something, and maybe that's where we end. But we start with something that says, okay, maybe we get rid of the stuff that can blow a whole wall off in fucking.
But we're not
10
though.
seconds.
We're not though.
We haven't. I don't.
No, but that's not
we
that's not
haven't.
what's proposed. Because I always tell people, it's like, you want to see something that can do damage? Use a fucking 12 gauge shotgun.
Right.
Scare the shit out of somebody.
That is the thing, but a 12 gauge shot. How many rounds is that? Like 6.
Depends.
I mean,
mean,
yeah,
if
it
you get
depends, but we're not talking more than 10, and we're also talking about something that you have to, like, there is a pause in that gives some sort of chance. Now, granted, you can always argue the hunting part of it, and I think that's the reason why, like, shotguns are treated in its, like, own separate class, and that's okay. I mean, whatever. But we're talking about the stuff, like, no hunter is really using an AK-40 or AR because, I mean, you got shit meat at that point if you use that to hunt. So there's no real hunting used for it unless you're hunting people, is what some would say.
I mean, that also depends on what rounds you're using with it as well, too, because you can get rounds that don't do.
Yeah, but we splitting hairs. Let's stay on the gun part of it.
Okay, all right. I mean,
is it a start? Is it a decent start at least? Even if we say,
no,
I'd like to see some compromise. Right?
The compromise.
I understand exactly. That's what you're saying.
That is the compromise because the other side is like, we want to get rid of guns, period, which we know that makes, I mean, I would say make no sense at least.
Okay.
Because you can have those legit arguments of a black market.
Is this a conversation or are you telling us what we should do?
I'm debating.
Hey, I just said, let me talk, bro.
Okay,
let me talk, bro.
You do your
thing. Let me talk, bro. Yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I'm just going to air it out there. I don't really know a lot about guns. I killed stuff with spears, but
he's not lying.
I'm not really on either side. But I do, I watch, everybody's been seeing it on Facebook. You see both sides. Like, you can, at least on my Facebook, it's 50-50. Dude, some people are so pro, and it seems like it's just become teams, right?
Oh,
and
no, it is.
It's definitely teams, okay? So I just like to see a little bit of human compromise, man. Like, okay, well, we'll give you the and you shouldn't take everybody's AR-15s, right? Fucking stop selling them now and then make them illegal, right? But if you've got one, keep it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some kind of compromise where people can, and you got to give a little bit too. Like, there's got to be give and take on two teams, right? For there to be any kind of equality.
But the conversation can't happen because it's more, I mean, we're having it, but the conversation
because one side says fuck no and so does the other to both of their proposals.
Right. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. And I think if we can, yes. So you got two sides that are basically just have drawn a line in the sand. And I don't think that is the case for most people. Honestly, I think most regular people can see the compromise in we need to do this, but it's the louder voices that are saying, I can't, I don't want to give anything up, and I'm not going to give anything up, be it I want to get rid of all guns, or I don't even understand the debate at this point when obviously kids keep getting killed. People in general keep getting killed. Black men with, I don't know.
And you know what? And let me tell you
cigarette holders.
Yeah, and this raises a good point because I listen to all the people sit on Facebook and say, ban this, ban that, ban these weapons. It's like, what really bugs me is like, a lot of people are only out there saying ban this is because it's creeping up into their own neighborhood now. That goes back to the whole thing we talked about of racism isn't getting worse, it's just getting filmed. The thing about why people are so adamant about banning guns is because, people have been getting shot down by, assault rifles all, since assault rifles came around, like in Chicago and New Orleans, murder capitals, of the nation. That's just been happening. The problem is now people are seeing it on video. It's creeping into the backyard. It's happening in suburban neighborhoods at, Stone Douglas High School or whatnot. That's why people really care about it. They didn't care about it when it was happening in the projects of D.C. or Chicago. But now they know, oh, wait, you're telling me that my little Timmy
kids,
can get shot up by AR at suburban high school in California? Oh, get rid of assault rifles. Like, you didn't care about it when it was a problem for somebody else. You just care about it since it's your problem now. And that's what a lot of people's issues are, is they don't care about things until it's their problem. And by the time it's their problem, it might be too late to make any kind of real change.
True.
You're more likely to get killed by a vending machine falling on you. That's a statistic.
And I love statistics.
We'll put that. We'll put that in the show notes.
So
I don't know that be true.
Yeah, Google it. Google it. Hey, and then you're more likely to be eaten by a shark. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're more likely to be abducted by aliens.
No.
It's that emotional thing that people attach to, man. It's just like, you know, you
But
realize,
that's the only thing that motivates any movement of like for any like people who decide I'm gonna go vegan for like they had to make a whole movie before you get this whole vegan movement of let's make this change in how we diet. I think playing the people emotions is. I mean that's what they do in juries all day. I mean in court all day.
I think people need to take a step back and be able to evaluate other people's ideas without just being biased on their own. And that becomes, like, that's a talk about, like, what I was saying earlier on the fact that, like, I wish that we could understand, I wish the basic human could understand the mind a little bit more. Like, the psychology of why you act this way, why others act their way, because it's a lot easier to understand what's going on. And I'd just like to see a lot more of that, and I think that we could find a better balance. Balance is really the key that we're looking for, right?
It is, and that goes back to my whole topic, environment, man. Like you said, it's all an environmental thing. It's how people fit in that environment. I go back. You've seen the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you take a rich man and put him on the streets? He resorts to crime and drugs. What happens when you put a guy from the streets in that business? He becomes a businessman. It's the same thing.
Survival.
That's all it is. That's all we want to do in life is survive. To a single cell organism, when you think of it, that's all it is to survive and replicate, have sex and survive. That's life.
I think people are just if people are just selfish in the end of the day. I don't really think
Absolutely.
I don't think it matters as much as environment. I mean, environment plays a part of it, big picture. But I think people are just in general selfish in their way. Like we talk about guns, the biggest thing about guns, like you said, all right, it's not until you get into the doorstep, and then the other side is like, no, I want to keep my guns. No one has even proposed the idea of taking anyone's guns, but somehow that became the narrative. All he said was, we're gonna stop. He said, wait, if I stop, that means I can't buy a gun, or you may take my thing. Like
because to get people in an uproar, you have to make something radical.
People feed off that fear and that emotion, which are
Exactly. You have to scare them to make them go, oh my God. And then that's when you have 20 million shares of something that's not even true on Facebook, that your guns are going to be taken.
Man.
Dude, I see people tripping on shit that's like Trump is about to ban all this shit.
Yeah,
Trump is about to ban this girl commented this just the other day. He said Trump was getting rid of
black people.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here, but the money that you get from having a baby, like
child care tax.
child
child
support.
care.
Child
child
support.
support.
Oh
Jeez
yeah,
Louise.
that's also something shared
Yeah.
about that.
So man, I don't know why it took me so long to get to that, but
He's married.
yeah,
It's not
and
part of
probably
his
because
life.
I have an amazing baby's mama
Mother of your
baby's
child.
mother who does not, we have an agreement. We're normal, basic humans, and we just came to an agreement
Right.
on this stuff. But anyway, I saw everyone was reacting to this thing about Trump getting rid of child support, dude.
Right.
And they're reacting to something that's not even close to true,
Yeah.
but it's something radical that sparks an emotion, right? If you can spark an emotion out of somebody, they're going to get triggered in. They're going to get lured in. They're going to look past facts. They're going to look directly at what they see in front of them, and they're going to think that's true.
Right. And that's what the AR-15 did. Everyone's like, another AR-15 was.
But whose responsibility is that to get that information?
Theirs. It's
Yes.
absolutely theirs.
Yes,
And that's
yes,
the
yes.
problem with humans today, man, is like we want to just believe what's right in front of us. We don't want to do the little bit of extra work. Man, here's what I'd learned, and it's the best thing that the best ideology that I've ever accepted is that I don't know shit, okay? And what I see in front of me is probably not shit either, right? Never believe anything until you really look into
Research
it.
Yep. And that's the problem is a lot of people take things for face value. Nobody actually goes and looks at things deeper. They see it and they immediately react to it. There's a lot of studies on that too, as far as a lot of fake news studies out there, and they say that it only takes like roughly 3 seconds for people to make up their mind whether they believe it or not. And if that person believes it in 3 seconds, it takes even less time to click that share button, and that just spreads like wildfire.
Well, it takes me a long time to decide if I believe some shit.
Well, that's good.
That's
I mean,
good.
that's
That means you're a critical thinker.
You should be-
No. I know I'm a smart person. I'm way better than most of the people that's on the
BBC
internet.
artist.
316.
316 AshleyMadison.com, son. Wait.
That's not a plug for my show. Now, if Ashley Madison want to sponsor the show, we'll do this all day.
Yeah.
No, you got to be a skeptic about everything, man. Be skeptical about everything you see in life, man. That's the problem is that's the same thing with everything in life. People don't question a lot of things. Not many people question the status quo.
Be a critical thinker.
Man, please.
Man, like put some thought. Dude, before you're mad at somebody or before you just lash out on somebody, just do a little bit just take a couple 30 seconds to like think about what's going on, what's really going on right now. Why is that person really acting that way? It's a lot easier to forgive people when you're like, man, that person probably had a shitty ass. Man, I'm looking at them. They don't look like they're having a good day. They look unhappy already. Oh, so I know why you went off on me, right?
But a lot of that is the what is it called? I'm gonna call it a herd, like herd mentality, where like. They don't. I think that 3 seconds isn't so much that they read it. Is that once it got to them, some people it's already got the opinion has already been developed for them. A lot of the stories when you look at the headline, we talked about like the linguistical part of it before. Is like if you use certain type of words to deliver some sort of message, you can help someone develop their thought before they even read into it. So I think some of that is just that they decide if they believe it or not. Like, for me, if I see something that's sensational, I just like, let me read that story. And I want to see what other source they got for this information. Whereas I see a lot of shares from either one side or another, black, white, pro-gun, pro-abortion, anti-abortion. Like, it's just some sensationalized title, and they just run with that shit and say, I saw it. I've been in plenty of conversations with my woke friends who just – they saw some sort of meme or whatever, 4 lines of information, and then will tell me that they saw it on TV or they read it, they saw a video. I'm like, no, it's not even the meme wasn't even real. So how did you even get to the point where you heard audio for something that wasn't real in the first place?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's exactly what's going on, man. It's like we're feeding off of our short attention spans. And, I mean, we've always had short attention spans, but we've learned how to finally tune them through marketing. Marketing is what figured all that shit out. Hey, marketing figured out, like,
what's
hey.
What's to say? Hashtag never again. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, you put a hashtag on something that emotionally invokes you or whatever like that.
It's all, like, that, to me, 100%. All of it is just marketing.
It's catching your attention, man. How can I catch these people?
The fact that
it's
you
the
gotta
attention
catch
game.
My attention shows
it's the
you
attention
that I
game.
don't care. Or people
okay,
don't care.
you.
No, I mean people. Like, you have to come up with some clever way to make me care. And I get it. It's a cause. You want people to care about causes. But then you are asking people to loosely attach to whatever that thing is, and it's like, that's how you feel? Fuck it, I feel that way.
People
too.
will not even loosely attach. People die hard attached to shit. That is,
I think then that's the Facebook effect. Ooh, Mark Zuckerberg is about to give me. It's the Facebook effect,
dude. People, yeah. I mean, how many of you got that? Like, hey, share this because Mark Zuckerberg shutting down Facebook.
Right.
Like,
man.
And if you can't do a little bit of critical thinking, you know what I mean?
Shut it down.
Like that's the type of shit.
They got
that
rid of
scares
AIM.
me.
I had to do something different.
Dude, or when like you see like I saw a video that was going around of a guy jumping into a water. He supposedly was wearing a GoPro, and a giant, which was animated shark, comes after him. That. Dude, and everyone on it thought it was real.
Yeah.
Everyone. The majority of people thought it was real, and that does bother me.
And let me ask you that with that, and this is going to be a shameless plug because I will be publishing this research soon on the internet.
On the I'm Kind of Famous podcast, kindoffamouspod.com.
I'll be my research is titled "Internet Overuse and its Impact on Deviant Behaviors." With that being said,
hey, there you go.
What do you think about how internet plays a role? Because it's also going to help because I proposed this to my committee, my research committee, here in 3 weeks on May 16th. How do you think the internet's played a role on all this stuff like this? Did we fight like this before the internet? What do you guys think, man?
Man, I would fight in the streets. So.
No, dude,
oh no,
because
man.
you didn't constantly surround yourself with people you didn't agree with. And yo, I get it. Hey, you need to be open-minded and just listen. Man. But dude, you should not listen to bullshit all day that bothers you.
Man, so true.
Like, okay, could you imagine being a police officer where every person you pull over fucking hates you? You
Oh,
can't
man.
tell me that doesn't have an effect on them. So,
absolutely,
like
man.
psychologically,
Yeah.
my sister being she works at the Sedgwick County as a correction. She
Okay.
works at the she's a corrections officer.
Right.
Dude, her like the way she pictures those inmates, I've noticed like a change.
Right.
Like because they treat her like shit. They
Right,
talk shit
right.
all day. She's a lot less remorseful.
That creates what's called an implicit bias. So she, anywhere she goes now, she'll probably see an inmate and she'll just in her brain she just looks at him at one way because she's developed that.
Well, it's
behavior,
like
man.
it's like a low level PTSD.
It is. It's an implicit bias. So it's kind of like that. It's where you have subconscious reactions or subconscious biases towards individuals that you aren't aware of.
Well,
You know what
your
I mean?
group, that and your grouping, that's what your brain does, right?
Right,
It groups it. I always look at the brain like this is file C, which is humans, and then you put everybody into groups, man. You look at a person, and that's what your brain's supposed to do. Your brain's
Right.
supposed to categorize. Like, that's how it works.
Stereotype.
Exactly. That's exactly what your brain does. It categorizes people so that you can instantly notice things, right?
Trust, you ain't gotta tell me. I have zero problem with stereotype. So
Right, because it's just that's what our
And that's-
brains are made to do, right? If you
That's
look
so
at
true.
you see plants and shit, right? Your brain is gonna go, that's a plant. Oh, this is a green leafy thing. Oh, it's a plant. You see an animal running around.
Right.
It's an animal, dude. You start to categorize, and that's on a very simple.
No,
I'm
that's-
talking about, but it
dude,
happens at a
It's
very.
not that simple. It's actually pretty. You're actually describing pretty complex, and I'm dead serious. It's another shameless plug. I have a publication on that called "The Effects of Schemata on Bias-Based Policing," and it's basically me saying why police.
first, you
racial
gotta define
profile.
schemata. I know my audience.
He just defines schemata. He just
Okay.
did. So it's basically it's that level.
I know
We
my
have
audience.
ways-
They don't.
We have ways. We walk into a room and we say, I'm saying, okay, that's a chair or that's a cabinet because there's DVDs and stuff on it. That's a TV because things are playing on it. That's how we categorize stuff in our brain. Police don't wake up, every day. Not the majority of police don't wake up and say, I'm gonna go find me a black motherfucker and beat his ass. That's just not what they do. What they do is they go into the neighborhood and they say, and they don't even realize it, but their brain is saying, the TV is showing me all these black
right,
people
thugs.
committing crimes.
That's what
thugs.
they
And he sees a black person, he's like, "Oh fuck, that's a criminal," because not because that's how he feels, but because that's what a schemata has developed.
But so with that is the
He doesn't. He's not realize. He's not conscious of it.
But that's the overall. And so like with that, if we go into the thing that happened at Starbucks,
Right.
and
Dude, all right.
That-
Hey, for our listeners that don't know, because I don't know, what happened at Starbucks?
all right, at Starbucks,
I just seen Starbucks memes.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what happened.
So at Starbucks, basically the short form of it, two guys went there and wanted to use the restroom. They told them you couldn't use the restroom unless you buy something or something to that effect, or it's for paying customers. So they went and sat down. When they sat down, one of the clerks or someone called the police on them for trespassing. They was arrested for trespassing. So with that,
They were just normal folk. They were just normal folk.
They're
just
real
sitting down.
estate agents.
Now I told, they were young
were they
black
black or
kids.
something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they were
I didn't fucking know. I'm assuming that's where we're going, but they could have been Hajis. Wait, is that a? Oh shit!
I can edit that on the show, but it just went
Was that
live.
politically incorrect?
Well, it depends who you ask. I'm
Oh. Hey,
not offended by
I got
that.
words in my head.
Johnny Quest. Oh wow.
Hey,
As a veteran,
was
that's a
he
commonly used
Arabic?
term.
Were they Arabic? I mean, I don't know. I
Fair
got
enough.
military
Fair
friends.
enough. I
I've just
give you
heard
that.
that.
But the funny thing about the bigger thing, the joke part of it is, you assume nothing that wasn't white.
Basically, yeah.
So going back to this whole effect
Actually,
thing.
and then I was also thinking about my business. I was like, were they homeless? Because you don't want.
But it
homeless
doesn't
people in
matter.
there.
Right.
Like,
It doesn't
That
matter.
makes sense, yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but dude, it's just true.
What?
I mean, if they were like
Homeless?
barely had clothes on, homeless dudes sitting in there.
But even still, like you can be homeless and look like any one of us and go in
Oh,
there.
100%.
So the thing is, like, the problem, and I was having this conversation with someone before, when I was talking about it before, is that Starbucks made a culture out of people just sitting down and doing whatever.
yeah.
So the fact that you can't say that they're trespassing, if you're saying, okay, and I understand, if you say I can't use your restroom unless I buy a fucking coffee, and that's your deal, cool. But if I go sit down, you really can't be mad because that's what a lot of people go into Starbucks and do, and that's the culture you created. So how's these two guys trespassing because they decide to sit down?
Right, and here's the bar that has to be set at that point. As a company, they have to set that bar. They have to say every single Starbucks is now going to kick out anybody who doesn't have – and they don't want to do that.
Right.
They don't want to do that. They're not going to do that. So what they do, they fired the guy. Good job.
All right, so now going back to that effect, though, how do you even teach that? Because Starbucks said we're gonna shut down however many stores that have some racial training. But if these things exist, no 24-hour or 8-hour class that you take an employee through is going to change these biases that they have already cultivated with basically their life experiences. Like your sister isn't going to change with one class to decide that when I see certain inmates to change how I look at them. You have to now you have to restructure and remold that because that's something that exists in the brain already.
Right.
It's already like it's stamped in there until it fades away.
So how do you remold it?
You went back to ground zero. So taking AR-15s away won't fix gun violence, as in an 8-hour racial bias training won't fix racial biases in Starbucks. So how do we fix
it was never to stop gun violence, it's to minimize it.
Right.
So you take away the weapon. In this case, when it comes to people, the weapon is the mind. So if you take a person who has a disposition to a racial bias to see a black person a certain way, if he has a gun, a knife, a bat, he's still going to approach that situation with the same biases. All that does is give that potential victim a better chance at, hey, hold on, I ain't doing shit, versus the Trayvon Martin thing. Or I shouldn't even say Trayvon Martin because
is it a predisposition or is it an environmental thing, man? Because
I think they hand in hand. I think they hand in hand.
I think we give too much credit to people's predispositions, man, versus their environment or the environment they came from, like this Kamada thing, going back to that. You know, I think
because I come from a shit environment, and I don't look at Dave any different than other people.
So So you're not inherently a bad. You wouldn't, if you were a bad person. Are you inherently a bad person, or are you a bad person because of the environment you came out of? Is what I'm getting at.
You got to define bad first.
Whatever. I mean, however you generally define.
I mean, because I would look at I would have to. You have to almost say environment, because if you take anything out of the womb and you place it in wherever it's going to be, it's going to develop based on its location. Like I say, I'm a Christian because this is where I was born. If I was somewhere else, I probably wouldn't be a Christian. So when people have the religious argument, it's like, I know I feel this way because of where I'm from, so I can't really be upset at a Muslim or a Sheik or anyone else for what they believe because it's from their environment. So now we have to break down and critically look at religion as a whole versus the different segments of religion. That's how I look at it.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just, as me, as my nature, my profession, I button press a lot. I pick your brain just to see what you think about it, because it also helps me.
But you said something about the internet.
You guys lost me somewhere around Trayvon Martin.
Yeah. All right. Well,
internet though, man.
You said something about the internet.
I really want to talk about that because, one, that's my whole research realm right now. I've been getting headhunted through LinkedIn, through a lot of internet research companies, knowing that I'm about to finish my PhD. I don't want to leave Wichita, but anyways, to go back, that's my area is internet research. And I always pick people's brain about, what they feel about the internet and how it's shaped behavior and so forth.
Internet's influential. I think internet. This has always been my argument about the internet. Is it allowed, or stuff like Facebook, it allowed the uncool people to sit at the cool kids table. So like now I got people.
It does that, and check it out. It also lets assholes be assholes with no repercussions.
Bingo, man.
It lets people say whatever the fuck they want with no social repercussions, dude.
I think we just learned how
you're telling me
people are, though.
If I'm just saying, if we were two internet people on Twitter, right? I'm gonna drop the N-bomb and call you the nastiest stuff in the world, right? You think I would do that to your face as a human? No.
Computer-mediated deviant behavior.
That does never happen, man. No.
It won't.
I've been called it. So
hey, I'm saying very rarely, though.
But that person would call you that in person before they would on the internet, though. These people are the ones that would call you to it on the internet. But
so how much of it is
and
this
that's
person
I would say that is 90%.
Asshole or he's a troll?
No.
Is that who he is?
They're trolls are assholes. Trolls are people who.
I mean, I think a troll can go into a situation and say, "I'm about to rile this shit up. Let's go." Versus
okay, and if you do that, once, if you do that once every 6 months or a year or something, then it's probably just for fun. But dude,
Right.
most of these people live on the
Live on the
internet.
fucking-
They live on the internet. They
man.
have 8 different accounts so that they can literally just talk shit on people because they're not happy with their own life.
The internet is a breeding ground for shitty behavior, man. It really is. Because you find other people who like to engage in that shitty behavior.
All right. So then we go here. Then should we police that behavior?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
But
That's-
then
no,
now,
because you
now,
can't.
now
Because
we
you
get
can't.
back to the First and Second Amendment. We go back to gun rights, and now we're talking freedom of speech.
I don't even say it's an amendment thing. I think it's a waste of time type of thing. Because you can't.
we need to teach people that that's not how you're valued. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, and you shouldn't value so much of like how many likes you get on Twitter or
Right.
Facebook or something. But I mean, I understand. I've been talking this whole time about like everything I believe is like basically like our brain is already is wired a certain way, right?
Right.
And when we get likes, that's attention, man.
Man.
And it's like it's rewarding,
You watch
right?
that
It's
Black
a
Mirror
reward.
episode?
It's a reward. It's
Did
a
you watch that
reward.
episode on Black Mirror about the likes?
I didn't really. I don't think so. I
Watch
don't
that
know.
one. But it's so true. Yeah. But likes, when people get that likes, it's
So
like
when you get
pat on the back, man.
when you get destroyed on the internet or something, like, dude, I know a normal ass kid who bought all of his followers and stuff like that just so he could, feel good and feel
Right.
cool and stuff like that, man. And like that's such a weird thing because that's new. Like,
Right.
we didn't ever have to
Hell
do
no.
any. You were as cool as you were at school.
And that's it. Yeah, and that's
You
it.
know what I mean? You were as
Yeah.
cool as you were at school. That was it. Now you can develop, like, if you're not cool, if you're not on your phone being cool,
Yeah.
like if you're not on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, and you're not like always doing that shit, and you're not cool on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're
I don't,
like,
I
who's
don't
that
know how
guy?
it translates at
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, no kidding. It's weird because you look at people and they're like, I'm not on Facebook, and it's like, so what the fuck do you do with your life? You know what I mean? When people
You
say
know,
they're not on Facebook.
I kind of wonder if it's two different things. Like older people do using this. Like we have a background where we have a pre social media life.
We were raised with it.
We know like the difference. I wonder if like my a 15, 16-year-old just knows how to use it better than us because that's all they had. So they kind of know how to balance like the real versus fake, whereas an older person is like, oh, I want to buy my followers because I want that feeling
This
to
was
feel
a
popular.
young kid.
Oh well, shit,
And
I don't know.
what I'm saying is, okay, do they know how to shut off like the emotional response to someone calling you a piece of shit and like you're a
I don't think
fucking
they do.
loser?
I don't think
Well,
they do
you know,
because-
now-
Even if you don't even know this person, do you know
Right.
how to shut that off at
and
13?
I don't think they do.
Do you know how to
because
do you know how to decipher what's real and what's not at 13,
Right.
14 years old?
because they've always been raised with the internet. We are where we had you remember dial-up sound, putting the dial-up on AOL and shit.
Yeah.
We know what it's like not to have the internet. We know what it's like to have someone in your face and having real interaction. And I'm not saying that these younger generations don't, but they don't. There's less of a line of what's real and what's internet per se.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone calls a piece of shit on the internet. It's like
That's you get
they
an
take it
emotional
serious.
response, right?
Yeah, it's like me. 90% of the time I use the internet,
And that's how and then they start to value themselves
Yeah.
that way. If it's something like degrading all the time, right?
Right.
If they're always hearing shit and no one's ever liking their stuff or
Yeah.
whatever, like they're gonna start to value themselves how they are on the internet.
I knew someone who that if they're posting enough likes, they would delete the fucking post. Yeah, and you've seen people do
Someone.
it.
My
yeah.
mom's
we call
done
those
that.
moms.
She was like, no one liked my photo, so I deleted it. I was like, good call, mom. No, I just like,
It's true, but you're just like, well, yeah, but at the same time, it's just like some people they take that so serious, and it's just like, and I just remind people, it's just like it's, have that healthy balance of, and that's what anything healthy balance. Between,
All that shit for me it's my personal entertainment. That's why I don't get too caught into it. I don't get too caught where in the curation. Like someone said something about spelling. I'm like, look, hey, I just took that L. I mean,
Yeah.
I spelled it wrong.
but you're also an adult.
right?
You're also an adult with
But
your
it's
brain is
adult-
already kind of set in its ways. Like
there's
still
a crap ton of adults who don't know how to deal with this shit,
oh, definitely 100%.
and they are living their life through.
Hey, what up, Cody Carrillo? He said, "What's up to everybody?"
What up? What up?
Yo,
He the gangster. The
Yeah.
gangster. Man, but yeah, so back to that, like, I just think, I don't want to say, just because of lack of word, like, you have a cultured mind, like, lack of word, honestly, cultured, like,
Cultivated.
in a cultivated mind, like, in a sense of, like, you know how to
Ration.
shut out negative stuff or let it slide, like,
well, also I'm an artist, so rejection comes with like I
yeah,
have to deal
definitely,
with
right.
criticism and being
You deal with it
people
better
not
than
liking
other
my
people,
stuff
probably.
all the time. Well, not all the time, but
I mean, and you sit in an arena where you're watching sometimes as much as 10,000 people wanting you to lose, so you're probably fine.
Oh,
with it.
100%,
Yeah,
dude.
so it's
And like
nothing new
that's
to you.
something, right? Oh, were they bullying me when they're
Right.
like, "You got fucking knocked out, you
Right.
fucking loser, man"?
you know, I think a lot of it is
like, yeah, is that a form of bullying? Yeah, it is.
Absolutely
But
is.
check this out. I've also dealt with that my whole life growing
Right,
up,
right.
and I've understood like, okay,
Right.
well this motherfuckers. That's where I
Have
got.
you ever
Eventually,
been
was
bullied?
like that person's unhappy. Why are you gonna say stuff to somebody like
Right.
you can't be a happy person and want to like
bully.
just shit on people.
Yeah, no, that's
Have you been
Yeah.
bullied
That's-
before?
100%.
yeah.
Hey,
absolutely.
Hey.
I'm light skinned. Of course, I've been bullied, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I want it's you know what? I'm just kind of thinking it out. I want to it's a lack of developing defense mechanisms. Like I was funny, and I was cool too, so I didn't have to worry about too much. Like even if I lost something, there was always someone ready to like, man, hell no. Like they said I won
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
lost. Like so, I never really worry about it. But I wonder if it's just a lack, because when you look at social media and you see people. Or like someone who doesn't get enough likes, like they're hurt that I didn't look that good in this photo. Like, look, it's a picture. Did you like the picture? Why did you put it up there? Did
Yeah.
you put it up there for you? You put it up there for
Man,
them.
most of those, you look at it though, man, and like they're only putting the pictures up. I mean, it's building that fake image again too. You know, they only put up the pictures that they know are gonna.
Right.
Oh man, I'm out here at the lake on this nice ass boat.
Yeah.
Like, let's take a picture of me at the boat. You know, or no one takes a picture of their sad times.
Yeah, no shit.
Shit.
If I
Okay,
had
actually, hey, I take that back. But that's also a really sick part of the internet too.
Right.
Is those people are doing that for
Yeah.
attention as
You
well.
know, and
they're
you're right.
doing that for attention.
it's either one extreme or the other. There's no healthy balance between it. You
Like
know?
I see people post pictures of them crying and shit.
I've
And
seen
it's
that
like
too, and it's just like-
you're. I mean, I honestly feel bad for them
Right,
because
right,
like,
it's like-
that's how bad they're starving
They're the
for
same
love.
person.
Right.
They're
It's like
starving
love
for
hate.
love
It's
and
the same
attention.
person.
Yeah, it's just like that's. Yeah, I seen. It's crazy to say because I saw someone post.
Because I like
crying
showing
picture
some
recently.
failure from time to time, just because I look at like comment, like a joke. Like if usually when I'm making a joke, it's at the expense of myself or someone else. But I can do it on someone else, knowing that I can. Like you bring yourself down for the joke. It's making funny.
Right.
But I think people
Self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, well, what social media has created, like a winner's circle, a winner's mentality. Like, if I'm not winning, I'm not going to talk about it. But if I'm losing, I want other people to make me feel like a winner for losing.
Right, and it's just attention, period. Like, we're starting to get most of our attention off of the internet as opposed to, like, me when I was younger. Like, dude, I was the fucking class clown.
Right,
like, I
right,
did a bunch
man.
of dumbass shit. Like, one time I was at the lunch table, and I was like, man, you know, I'm always trying to find a way to get the attention on me, right?
Right.
Obviously, I'm a fighter. I love attention
Yeah,
and shit like
for
that.
sure.
So I'm there as a kid, and I took everybody at the table's piece of gum, balled into one piece of gum, and chewed it up.
No shit.
And they thought that, you know, everybody was ripping and
Yeah.
roaring, man. They
Right,
thought it
right.
was so damn
Yeah.
gross and funny and stuff.
Right.
But, like, dude, as a kid, like, you want to get attention. You want to be cool.
Right.
Like, that's just a basic primal thing. You want to be, if you could, you'd be the pack leader.
Right.
You'd walk
Yeah.
around with your chest out, and you'd have every girl on your shoulders.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to be that guy, right?
Right. You know, it took you effort. You tell that story. It took you effort to do that story. On the internet now, kids can do that with zero effort, and that breeds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
As far as he had to go through and say, "Hey, you give me your gum." You had to interact with people. Say, "Give me your gum. Give me your gum. I got this badass fucking plan. Watch it happen."
Yeah.
You had to physically chew that gum. On the internet, you don't have to do all that. You literally
Right.
can just pay somebody, Photoshop this photo for me, and make me look like a badass.
Eat this Tide
yeah.
Pod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. On the internet.
That's what I would say. Like, I'm thinking that's other than so you mean like the challenge, these social media,
Well, no,
these
I'm
hashtag
saying
challenges.
It's so much easier. It required effort for you to be. It takes effort to be a class clown. I was one too. Man, I went to summer school every year up until my senior year because I failed because I was too busy either playing soccer or just fucking around in school. The thing is, it takes effort. It took me effort to. It took a lot of work to fail in high school. You know what I mean? To fail that much. To be able to stand out, to be
Put
that
in
class
no
clown.
effort.
You don't have to put in any effort on the. Well, I guess there's two extremes, but for someone to be famous on the internet, it really doesn't take much effort, does it? I mean, to an extent.
Okay,
to an
so I
extent.
kind of
Kim
agree
Kardashian.
and kind of disagree. I think that it takes a special mind to like do those sort of things. As weird as that sounds, like
Right.
it really does, man. Like to actually like build yourself up and be like one of those crazy huge social
Right.
platform people.
But
Like
those people were gonna. They could have did that with or without social media.
you know, you get the
think?
fluke people who
Yeah.
go crazy viral, right? You
Right.
get the fluke people that go crazy
Right,
viral,
right.
but like there's some people that
Well, like
literally,
the
they build
Walmart
themselves
kid
into
won't
that.
mean nothing to us in 2 weeks, but
Prince, who's the guy? Prince,
Rogers.
he always he does the motivational like videos and stuff like that.
Remember
For
the,
real?
remember the guy
Y'all don't
Ty
know who I'm talking
Lopez?
about?
Look at my Lamborghini. You talking about that guy Ty Lopez?
Man.
What? But not like I think some of those
I know you're talking
the
about that.
fluke people.
Prince EA. Prince EA.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know
I
what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
I know you're talking about. Yeah,
Prince EA.
yeah.
Nah.
Oh my God.
He's like
Lester,
another Ty
bro.
Lopez out there. They
He's
find
like a
the internet-
motivational
Yeah,
guy. He puts
yeah.
together these really good videos, and that's a smart person who's
Right,
taking
right.
the social platform and understanding
Yeah.
it. Like he built his followers up,
Right.
you know. And then you got somebody who eats Tide Pods and goes viral.
Right.
Like I mean,
I guess, yeah,
that's a.
it's a-
But that's what I'm
shit
saying.
that-
Those are two different things because you're talking about a legitimate entertainer.
Well, that's what he's saying. He's saying it's two different things.
A
That's
ta-
what-
oh,
I'm
okay.
agreeing with that.
Because
Yeah.
I think like those people would have been able to. He would have figured out if that's what he wanted to do.
He would have
He,
figured out. a
he
way
may
to
not
do it.
have done it as quick,
Right.
but he would have slowly grew that. And what they call it
He's a blogger, basically. Like I mean,
what they call it, a grassroots. It'd have been more grassroots. He wouldn't have had as much reach, but then the Tide
he get the Tide
Deal.
Pod person gets 10 million views, but he's got to build it over time, right?
And let me just say this before. I want to remind people that the Tide Pod thing, as stupid as it is, it ain't as
I don't
bad
know
as they
what
make
it
it sound
is.
because these motherfuckers back in the 70s were huffing paint, huffing gasoline.
Hey, someone
Hey,
tried.
there was a ton of crazy
Hey,
shit.
someone-
We used to choke each other till we were
Yeah, it's
unconscious.
like-
Someone tried milk for the first time, so
That's
just,
some freaky shit. You went up to a cow and sucked its titty. Yes, people have been doing
Shut
weird
up.
shit. I mean, that's what milk is.
Oh,
You know
that's
what
what you.
I
Oh, I
mean?
I was like,
You
I
don't
was like,
think-
what are you lactose intolerant, bro? Like, I was like,
You
what?
think about it, but I'm talking about all the people like saying these millennials are doing Tide Pods. It's like, motherfucker, you was huffing spray
Yeah,
paint
and
out
guess
of a
what?
bag.
It's more prevalent now.
And
We
you
get to see a
motherfuckers-
video of it. We get to
Yeah.
see a picture of it.
Right.
We get to see. Man, I love these people that clown on these. Who are the girls? Who are the girls? The
Kardashians.
No, they're like the young little rapper girls.
That Cash Me Outside girl.
Catch Me Outside
Yeah.
girl, all those girls. Catch Me Outside got popular because of the viral video, but there's been like 2 or 3 little spin-off girls who,
Whoa Vicky, the one.
Bo Vicky or whatever,
I'm black, motherfucker. I'm
Yeah.
black. Yeah, that shit.
And
yeah.
you know, in a way that is a form of intelligence. She figured out a niche that would just instantly spark
Right.
people, dude.
Yeah.
And she knows she's hated.
Yeah.
See,
They
I-
know they're hated, but they're getting the views.
Yeah.
Those are. See, I almost feel like the first was the fluke, and everyone after that said that worked. so I'm
Exactly.
gonna do
They
it.
followed the program. That's
Right.
exactly it. Catch Me Outside was the first. She was the fluke, right? Because just that Phil episode, that Dr. Phil episode, was around forever.
Right.
And then they just clipped it right
Now-
and made it
now
look
she's
good.
a millionaire, man.
And now she's a millionaire.
Thanks to Win Crabtree.
What?
helped
Oh,
that
he
happen.
did her on the album. Yeah.
Well,
Shout
I
out
hope he
Win.
didn't do her, but
He might have. We don't
no,
know.
She's underage. That's a crime. Day.
Oh, he definitely did not.
Never happened.
But I don't know. I think that the internet's a very precarious
So how do we
place.
fix it?
You can't, dude. You just gotta let this fucking thing ride out, man. We'll see what happens.
Man, that's crazy you say that.
So what's
Because
the
I
point
said
of
this to my wife-
researching this?
I swear to God, I said this to my wife yesterday. I was like, she was like, what do we do with all these people? Because she's having this issues with at school with people that work at schools that are older, don't understand poor kids, and they just hate them. They're mean to them. I'm just like, it's like you can't fix these people. You just gotta let them die out.
Exactly.
Like, you
dude.
got some of these things you gotta let die out. What do we do with viruses when we get a cold? Do we treat a cold? No, you can't. You gotta wait till the virus dies. These people are people with these kind of behaviors and stuff like
And there's
that.
always going to be a
Gotta
new
let- yeah,
virus.
there
dude.
is.
There's going to be
Yeah.
something else that concerns us, and there's going to be another way that people are dying, and there's going to be this or that. Man, I just
I
think
don't know.
we see everything now, dude. What the fuck? There's never going to be utopian society, dude.
Never,
And
never.
it's never going to fucking happen. There's always going to be the haves and the have-nots.
But it's funny how like all this, a lot of this is in America, and we have given out. We say, "Bam, let's wash our hands and not even promotes being better, where these other I think we're so locked into this idea of freedom that we don't even want to just mold it a little, like it should be a breathing thing that we can grow from and make better.
We should
like
definitely
other
make
countries
changes
have,
over time,
but then
right.
we like our freedom so much that like the idea of just taking a little bit of it from white people scares them.
Did you have to whisper that?
Yeah, we're used to it because we own the internet pretty much. The more entertaining shit comes from us because we have
Who's
got
the
so much
us?
black people,
Who's
African American, us,
Funny people?
the black. I
Hey,
mean,
Black Twitter is hilarious, bro.
Black Twitter's the shit, man. When it goes to what they call real nigga hours after
Hey, I'm-
3 a.m.
Yo, some of the funniest people I know are black, so.
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yep.
You say you welcome.
But why can't we? Why do we have to just ride it out? Why can't we just work towards making it better? It's almost like music.
You're gonna man. Here's the thing. You're talking about masses and masses of people. You cannot instantly change the minds of people over fucking night, dude. Yeah. It's not gonna happen.
But we got here in our lifetime. We got here,
right?
So
what? How do we?
Let me ask
how do we
this.
get to the next?
Would you say it was we got here at your lifetime, or maybe at half there? You know a difference. You know, you could probably name a year in time where you knew, like, man, this moment here was before all this fuckery happened.
Yeah, the internet, 2011 or
it couldn't have just been it.
Well, I don't know when it was, but like when we really dropped like social media,
right,
dude.
2004.
I felt, and guess what? That's because you see it more.
Right.
So people are just so fucked in their heads because that we're not used to it yet. We have not adapted to the idea that we're going to see all this crazy shit.
All right, hold
that's
on.
True. No, that's facts. That's facts.
But here's the but part of that. Is it, or is it the algorithms that we've learned to deal with? Because we don't find the shit that we find. Something is tailoring that towards us.
100%. But guess what? Yeah, but why is it doing that? Because 1 million other people were emotionally provoked by this.
I ain't seen some of the shit that y'all done talked about. I don't know the Vo Vicky girl or
I think you'd recognize her if you saw her. If you've been on
Facebook, I'm pretty
sure
maybe, but the fact that it has missed me.
Let me make a parallel to what Dave is saying as too, is about people don't know how to behave with that. And going back to your whole Starbucks thing, not to segue, but why do people behave the way they do towards minorities and so forth? It's like a lot of times people aren't used to how seeing minority society. Like when you think about it, my mother went to a segregated school. You know what I mean?
I've never thought about that.
If you think about it,
that's crazy.
Dude, black people have not been normal in society with white folks, but
I
for
just
one
meant
generation.
his
Right.
mom. I never thought about
You
it.
think about it, we're not used to each other. You know what I mean? Our parents maybe our parents may have went to separate schools. You know, Lester and I, we're both only 3 generations off the plantation, maybe 2 generations.
My great grandfather that did a documentary.
We don't know how to behave around each other yet.
He died at 104, and I talked to him about because he saw the end of segregation. So the fact that he saw the end of segregation and he saw the first black president within 100 years.
We don't know how to behave around each other yet because we haven't been around each other long enough.
It blew your mind, didn't it, Dave?
It's crazy.
We're living in an era where we have to endure the shit, man, because we're just gonna have to let some generations die out.
When you say we, what do you mean?
You realize that some people that are still in office making laws also were the same people that said black folks can't piss.
Well,
in this bathroom.
No, I'm 100% on that side. That generation.
I'm just saying we're in an era where we still have people that lived in eras of hate. You know, like none of us have hate in our heart. We all can make jokes about stereotypes towards any race and laugh about it. You know, you can tell me, Dave can tell me a black joke, or and I'll laugh about it, and I'll tell him one even better back. But because we've been around each other, but this has to go on for more generations. So
you have to just be friends with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's it. Like that's you. Like you're actually friends. You trust each other. You know what I mean? Like you know that you're not shitting on each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but we have older people that realize, is he saying the N word because his ass wanted me to go to a segregated school, or is he?
I'm gonna move this to sensitivity
because racism isn't inherited, man. It's taught, man.
I love when we're talking about that dude. Who's the dude that he owned the basketball team and shit and got in all that trouble?
Yeah, I know you're talking about for the Nets.
He got in all that trouble.
Donald Sterling.
Sterling.
Yeah.
Man, there's some comedian was doing this rip that was just hella funny, man. And that dude's like 97 years old or some shit, right?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you got to think about what he grew up in, what he went through. And he didn't even say like the M bomb or anything like that. He was just like, hey, please don't
be fucking these
don't
black
be
dudes, man.
having sex
Don't
with these
even
black
bring 'em.
dudes and shit. Hey, but I'm just saying, like, when you put into context, like I said really earlier, it's like when you can get into the mind of somebody and figure out why they are the way that they are, it's a lot easier to go, man, that dude's an old ass motherfucker.
Dude.
He'll be dead soon. We won't have to worry about that shit anymore.
Let me tell you a true story that you might like this one. So, I post on Facebook about my wife being white and me being the slave. I do it all the time.
Yeah,
It's funny.
yeah.
So, when I first met my wife's family, her uncle went up to my mother-in-law and said, he's like 9 years old. He goes, I didn't realize Abby was dating a nigger.
No way.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, this motherfucker said that. And
yeah.
I was laughing. My wife was mad. I was like,
yeah.
"You
Abby
realize-"
still don't know.
And then I was like, you do realize he was raised in Oklahoma and was born in 1927. It's like the word nigger was as normal as bro back then. It's like he's an old dumb motherfucker, man.
Wait a
That's
minute.
exactly
Yeah,
it, man. Like,
one
You know what? I
goddamn
sat next to
minute.
that guy, and he was so interested in my life because he had never
Yo.
heard a nigger that had been to college
Hey,
before.
and
Wait
check
a
this
minute,
out.
You
That's
one
what
of
I'm
those
saying.
educated niggas?
Yeah, he don't know any better. He's
Well,
old
goddamn
nigger.
it. Tell
Hey,
me something.
Okay, and so exactly, take this, everybody, take a second. Put yourself in the shoes of a kid growing up in Afghanistan
Right.
during the time that they're getting bombed, and
Right.
the only people around you are saying, it's those fucking Americans.
Right.
It's all the fucking Americans.
Right.
And then we're like, if you can just understand that, like, it is environment. Like,
Right.
if somebody tells you to grow up
Environment.
hating something, you're gonna fucking hate
Exactly.
it.
Damn.
Yeah.
If somebody,
so many-
if you
Exactly,
grow up,
100%.
hey, Americans are fucking bombing us, they're killing us. You're gonna hate Americans, like,
Exactly.
because it's associated with pain. No one wants to live in pain. As humans, we don't do that.
Then here's the question.
Exactly.
Are we too patriotic? We do these big demonstrations of let's salute the troops, let's do this, let's make sure we stand up, do the national anthem, like this whole thing, and a lot of that is built on hatred of another place. Even though we won't say it, let any person come. You can't say it. Yeah, you better protect your brand and shut the fuck up.
Fuck you jumping on. Hey, you don't know where my head's at. I'm thinking of some other shit.
Or you protect your brand if you're gonna agree with me. I think a lot of that is the reason why we can't put our mind in the place that we just ripped through a section of Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, all these places is because we're patriotic and we say we don't care.
It is a P word. It's called power.
okay.
It's called
also
power.
another
It's
P
called
word,
since
petroleum.
if you have two,
Petroleum. That's
yeah.
not a P word.
Hey, there
Oil.
you go. That's true. Hey, but check this out. If you have two people, you're at the beginning of time, you got two men, and there's only one woman. That dude's gonna bash the other dude's head in to make that his wife.
Absolutely.
All right, you have 10 and whatever. Now they're gonna make a hierarchy. And one of them's gonna be the shit at the end of the fucking hierarchy, right? And that's just okay. And then do that in a grand scale. That's what's happening. We're a tribe called America.
Yeah.
And we want to have the most power because we want to control everything, right?
We don't have less power if
just
we
highly
stop bombing those
intelligent.
places.
We're just highly intelligent.
Dude, you
primates,
don't.
Man.
You're telling, man. I love people that you're telling me you know exactly why we're bombing and all. You have proof.
No, I'm saying, okay, if we just look at this part of it then, based on this example, we are basically saying, let's just, if
I'm
we
not
go
saying
with,
it's
we're
right.
bashing,
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying
But I'm
by
saying, if
human
we're
biology,
bashing-
that's what we're doing.
but we're also bashing the weakest, if we're bashing people, right?
Why though?
We're-
Okay, petroleum.
we are,
maybe. That's probably what it is.
But
A lot of it, yeah.
But outside,
gold.
I'm talking about before we got here. We talked about putting our minds in the place of the child of the people growing up in these places that we're constantly, basically destroying.
Yeah.
And then nothing is really happening over here. In their mind, they're saying we ain't even doing shit to them, and they still raining all this fire on us. So.
Right.
If we're constantly doing it, and power, I believe, but patriotism is a lot of it where we say, no, we're doing it for this good reason, this fear that one day 9/11 may happen again.
Patriotism is a byproduct of the power. Yeah. If your tribe isn't fucking proud to be, they're not gonna go die for you.
Right.
They're not gonna go. If they don't want to be here, like, people will just fucking leave, dude. You want to know why they're here? Because we don't have bombs raining down on us all the day. All of us kind of have a home. Most of us have a home and some
because
food
how
to
many
eat and
people,
shit.
how many of these conspiracy guys, these people who don't believe in all the whatever, just they still stick around and stay here anyway.
Because they're fucking happy at the end of the
Alright,
day,
well,
and they're
yeah,
being
I mean,
fed.
I
And
don't
they,
disagree.
And half of them don't believe the own shit they're saying. They just do
Alright,
it
I
for
don't
the
dude,
disagree
I'm
with
telling
that
you,
either.
if you dropped off a conspiracy theorist in fucking Iraq, most of those motherfuckers would go, "There's no internet. I can't talk about my conspiracies."
Right.
And then they'd probably die.
Yeah,
They're probably gonna die.
for sure.
Dude, a lot of people are so bored that they create fucking dilemmas in their head, man.
Oh man. That's
But
goddamn
wait a
truth,
minute,
man.
that is what essentially government has done, though.
They've created boredom
created
with
a
us,
lot of dilemmas,
right? Which is a lot of our social
and they
issues
hid
stuff,
it
too.
behind, and some of it is hid behind this idea of patriotism.
I guarantee you, if we were working every single day for food, we would never think about what the fuck was going. We wouldn't be shooting up schools. I guarantee you that.
Right.
If we had to work all fucking day and worry
Well,
about
my
where we
friend
were gonna get
believes
food,
A lot of the shootings
Idle
happen
mind
to
is
the
a
lack
devil's
of
playground.
pussy.
people say,
Exactly.
man.
My best friend believes a lot of this is a lack of sex.
well, pussy's at the another man.
It's a powerful
Pussy is.
drug.
Well, we're not gonna go all the way into that.
It's a
But that's
powerful
power.
But
drug.
let's move
Actually,
to.
pussy might be above power.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
yeah,
you
yeah.
go to the beginning, the beginning story.
Well,
There's that,
if
then
you talk
got,
about Freud,
you got
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a survival.
you got the
thing.
suicide bombers who bomb thinking in the afterlife they're gonna get royalties. A lot of that royalties, a lot of women. You got a lot of the shootings that was based on not being cool enough to get the girl. I mean, there is a good argument for women need to stop being so goddamn cruel. Since this is live, y'all can. But let's go to sensitivity. I want to touch that.
whoa, hold on, let's jump on that, Leslie.
What you mean? When
What were we talking about?
Suicide.
You're about to bash your own brain in. Women are cruel, bro. What?
Yeah. Internet has done it. Internet has done it. So you could disagree, but I'm not very far off on that. Like the internet has made them have an ego higher than. Not that it shouldn't be. You can like who you like, but
Let's go to a different topic.
yeah, okay.
Set some fires off.
So,
that
I don't
motherfucker, man.
look. It's my show. I don't give a fuck.
Hey.
Sensitivity. Are we more sensitive now?
I don't think we're more sensitive. I think we're less tolerant. People have gotten less tolerant.
Can't say certain words.
What
Without
is
people
the
being
cause
upset.
of this, like the sensitivity?
I think a lot of it's people want to have something to bitch about too, man.
Dude, yeah.
You ever see people latch on the subjects they give no fucks about? Just like, yeah, that doesn't bother you. You just want to bitch about something. That, you know?
Oh, 100%.
Have you,
I can tell you,
the
plenty of
amount of
times I started
energy-
typing something, I said, I don't even give a fuck.
have you noticed the majority of the like when you watch?
Sensitivity. I think it's like a cry for, why me? Like
Right.
why? It's another way to get attention.
Right. It
It's
really
another
is.
way to get attention, man. Like we are an attention starved. You want to know why we're attention starved?
Starved?
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's
Absolutely.
abundant.
We're
of
attention starved, dude. Real attention, real emotional connection.
Right.
That's the fucking problem.
Do you think people
when you
want
talk
emotional
when I talk
connection?
to a fucking screen, I'm not getting real. I don't care what
You think you
you're
are, but
talking
you're not.
about.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're talking about on the other end with the person. You're not getting a real emotional response.
Right.
Like when you see if I said something to you and you started to bawl your eyes out right in front of me, emotionally things would happen in my brain. I wouldn't want to continue doing that. Right? I wouldn't want to continue fucking berating you with comments and stuff like that.
But through the internet, you would.
Most humans.
But on
There's-
the internet, you would be able to keep going. Though,
but you could keep going because you don't know what's happening on the other end.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
then they're probably
Yeah.
crying,
what
talking
about the
shit
people-
back.
Yeah, dude. Facts. That's
But what about the people who are on here going live, crying, and people still put their foot on the gas?
because they're so. I mean,
Because
it's not
they
really
can.
a physical barrier though. When he says like he can't see it, it's more of a kind of a theoretical barrier. It's not. It's because I know that I'm not in front of him. It's called computer mediated CMC.
Yes.
Computer mediated contact. So that computer mediated contact acts as an invisible layer that blocks emotions. Basically, we could be video chatting. You're crying. and
Why
I can
can-
still be saying fuck you because
Why
I
can-
know,
yeah.
I'm not face to face.
And
Yeah.
you could be anywhere, right?
Yeah, and I'm in
So
my own safety bubble.
why is it so easy? Why is it so fucking easy for a U.S. Air person to drop a fucking drone bomb
Right.
and kill hundreds of people
Right.
or more, whatever? Dude, it's easy because there's no connection
Exactly.
to like you really doing it.
Yes.
If you were there and you had to pick up the bodies,
Yeah,
you would
it'd be
never
different.
fucking do that again.
Yeah, facts, man. And, you know they.
But we do have soldiers that do that.
Well, no, there is a new,
Absolutely, and then they have PTSD.
right, yeah. There is, and there's also a new wave of PTSD showing up from people who do the drone bomb droppings and then have to go back and look at at
what they've
done, and they're just like, what the fuck did I do when they actually
they should have to.
Yeah, and they're like, holy fuck.
Because you're gonna think about. I mean,
Right.
I don't.
No,
So
it's
you
such
say
a
that,
hard-
but
yeah.
now what if? So then recruitment, military recruitment goes down. They're gonna find that new wave to how do we recruit?
Well, 100%, man. I mean,
Because I can tell you the way that black
if
people
the government
were
had
recruited
its
to the-
best choice, we'd have a robot army that just did exactly what no
Right.
emotions. You just go do
Right.
exactly what you had
Now
to do.
should we have that?
We will eventually,
But should we?
I think so. I mean, honestly,
dude. The first fucking nation that has a semi, even a portion of like. I mean, if you're talking like real functioning robotic,
Right.
dude, it's emotionless. It can go in.
Yeah.
Undetected, no heat signature, no nothing.
Right.
Fucking murk people, dude.
right.
I know we're going off on a little bit
No,
of
no,
like
dude,
futuristic shit here,
yes,
but
man.
but dude, that's the
facts,
scary
man.
shit.
Yeah, facts,
That's the
man.
scary shit.
I just
For
played
me.
that game, Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's exactly what it was, man. Nations fought with robots, and then what happened is the robots got self-aware and turned on everybody and wiped the Earth out. So but yeah,
You said something about emotional
Barrier?
content. Okay, but we do all right. We know that's the situation. Like we know that these people are not even close or is disconnected from us saying these things. Then why is it valued so much to people when these things are happening? Because they say that suicide is up with certain type of people and all this sort of thing. Is like we know these people like I was just telling someone earlier today, like if I had 15,000 followers, I couldn't imagine just 1,000 likes. I don't want to see that many notifications. Not on my personal stuff. Now on my business stuff, cool. But my personal life, I wouldn't want that many interactions happening that often. But then you get let's say, of those people who have 15,000 followers, they're paying attention to 1,000 people telling them that they're not shit. And these people don't know you, but they value, like, if you look at a model or something, they love saying thank you all day, but as soon as someone say, or say something that they don't like,
She falls in
dry
love.
into all
That's what
that.
actually happens.
Oh,
That's what actually happens.
No, you're talking about real life. We're talking about the
Oh.
comments.
Oh, in
but
the
they lock
comments,
into
yeah.
those more negative comments. They want to, or even just Facebook. Someone put a post, and then someone says something that I would probably deem that's a logical response to that, but it wasn't a response.
So are you just
they wanted.
asking why do I think that people value it so much?
Knowing that we know that there's an emotional disconnect to the conversation that's
Because you
happening.
can't decipher it. You fucking play the loop in your head and it sounds real, right?
I agree.
Is it?
You play the loop in your. It is. That's a
Well,
real.
if you
but
make something real,
if
is it
you're
real?
valuing that person's opinion and thoughts, or maybe they hit something that's emotional to you, right? I really care about my fight career. I love to have good fights. I'm not the first few times I saw people like shitting on me as a fighter. I was fucking hurting inside. Like it bothered me.
Right.
I'm like it fucking really bothered me, and. Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Is that yes, because you play that, you're like, am I a fucking shitty fighter? Am I shitty at this or shitty at that? Like, dude, they're feeding you with negative stuff, and then you're looping it in your head, and then you're just talking down on yourself as well.
Does that make you weak?
No, absolutely not. It makes you biologically designed to do those sort of things. Everybody does it. Everybody does negative self-talk, dude.
Oh yeah.
Everybody. Some people worse than others, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some have chemical balances on this way or that way, right? That they're gonna be. I'm more prone to like positivity, so so when I get on those negatives and stuff like that,
can turn
I can
around
flip
easier.
it around.
Yeah.
I can easily, just through my experiences or whatever got me there. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
But like I can, man, I'm a person who when I'm down, I can flip the shit on its fucking head and say,
good.
not me.
Right.
Not me. That's not me. I use it the opposite way. You know, I use it as ammo. Almost.
So defense mechanism.
I created a defense mechanism.
So
yeah.
I that's in general what I'm getting at is like, all right, we know that these things are not real, and if a person values it as something that's real, then who's helping or how do you help these people build a either guard or safeguard
How do you build
from
it?
it or help them with a defense mechanism? Like, because a lot of my defense mechanism wasn't.
Dude, I think it's going to be parenting. I think it's going to be parenting that actually was okay. The parents of the kids today who were the first like real internet babies, they're going to be like, dude, hey, check it out. people are gonna say fucked up shit on
Right,
the internet.
right.
It's all gonna be bullshit. You gotta fucking let that shit
Right.
slide. Like it's gonna be parenting. You're gonna have to teach your kids to devalue that stuff. Do not put that as important in your head.
Now, should they
Is
also
that possible? I don't really know because
should they also devalue the
balance.
positive?
the wiring of the brain, like
Right.
man,
Should they devalue the positive then as well?
yes, I think we should devalue the positive.
Positive aspects of the internet.
Well,
No,
I mean,
no. Just
well,
like,
I mean, like
just
the-
like, should because I got 1,000 likes, should I really
Right.
fucking get a boner over it?
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think we should too, because then
I think you should just have a conscious.
because it's like
Yeah.
you
You
got
should
to
have a good look at the thing. You know,
You
what
have
did,
to
what
teach
did I
them-
post? Did I post a picture of me with my shirt off and get 1,000 likes? And how much do I value that? Or did
Right.
I post a picture of me winning a $100,000 tournament that I worked my fucking ass off for
Yeah.
and I really earned and deserved?
Right.
That's different.
Right.
That's something you should really value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real
you're also
goals, real
talking-
stuff.
But
Yeah,
you're talking
sure.
about a world where we're developing towards, let's say if right now we are 50-50 internet real life. That's going towards 80-20, 70-30 internet real life. Like people are getting opportunities to basically
I'm glad
live
I'm not
real
here
life
for that.
Sims. Like this is real life Sims.
We're gonna
right
head in, with the way virtual reality
Yeah,
goes.
man.
We're gonna
Fuck
be able to
virtual
sit. We're gonna be
reality.
able to sit in a fucking room with people around us.
What are you talking about? That is now.
But
So-
I'm talking about
so how
quality. I'm
we-
talking about like quality, but
Yeah, quality,
See,
right,
all right, quality of life is really what we're talking about. Because these
What?
people, quality of life, come from a different location than
Some
ours.
people
Like
do.
I have a better interaction when I'm in the world, but other people are having these. They feel like their quality of life is based on the likes. These arbitrary numbers that these things that come across these screens and phones, and how many messages I have, how many notifications that I got missed. Like this is where their quality and value of life is coming from. How are we going to teach your daughter, my son, your son? Like how are we going to teach them? Disregard that because you need to find more quality of life in the
So-
against the grain at that
So
point.
showing them that, however, I don't know, it's going back.
Hey,
to
that's your
think of it-
research, so
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's really like those things because internet addiction is not something that's addiction in general is something that's in what's called the DSM, the Diagnostic Service Manual for diagnosing people with.
I got that.
mental
Me
disorders.
and Brandy talked about it.
Yeah, but it's addiction in general is, but internet addiction isn't in there yet. But it's just like a drug. We have to tell people, guess what? You're gonna take that. You're gonna smoke that weed. You're gonna feel hella good on it, but it's not gonna last, and it's
Dude,
not
you
real.
gotta
Why you gonna
teach-
say that right when I pull this out?
That internet, you're gonna
Pipe
get on
back
that
up.
internet, and you're gonna see a lot of people who are gonna be nice to you, but it's not gonna last because, and that's the same thing. How you have to teach them is like teach them that.
But
it's
you, but we're talking now. Those kids are now going to be the weirdo. You're not on this. You're not on that. You're not on this. Versus the weirdos used to be the guy that was playing Half-Life
Right.
all day.
But also at the same time, you have to teach them to value what they do more than what other people feel about themselves. We're too concerned about, and that goes back to the whole thing. Why do we care about the likes and stuff? Because we don't care about what the likes do for other people. We care about what those likes are doing for us. How does that make us feel? We're more concerned with how people feel about us and see us than what we do for ourselves. So it's just like some people will like if someone says, "Why aren't you on Facebook?" and it's like because I don't care. I don't need Facebook, to feel good about myself. And that's the same thing as this is gonna sound crazy. My whole family got together and was like, we need to have an intervention on Julian because he's getting a little too wild on Facebook. He cusses, he posts his inappropriate stuff. You know what I said to my family? I was like, I don't give a fuck. And they can watch this and see this and say, I don't give a fuck. It's like because I don't value what people think about me on Facebook. Facebook, the reason why my last name is Van Dam on Facebook, because I don't take it seriously. It's like,
It's
I don't give
funny
a
you
fuck
say that.
because guess what? I have professors, I have law enforcement officers, I have all kinds of people from every realm from what you can think of on Facebook. And I'm still not going to change how I behave because I don't give a fuck what people think about me.
I
on the
was,
internet. And that's how I
telling
can separate
somebody
the line between reality and the internet.
about this Facebook thing, this leak, that thing that happened. I said the reason why it was effective is because people tell the truth. Like,
Right.
my bio is the same as it was in college. Like, a
Right.
lot of my Facebook information isn't even really true at this point of my life. So it's
Right.
like you can't really profile me out that much based on my face. Like, a lot of my Facebook comments ain't even really about me, or conversation isn't about me. It's like observation. Like, you could probably get an idea, and that's also why my algorithm looks weird. Like, when I look on Facebook, it's like, man, why are they showing me this? I don't care.
Yeah.
But other people are getting the stuff that they care about, and I just don't. I don't
We're-
value that a whole lot.
We're saying people care too much what people think about them, and that's why the likes. People are just like they really take that serious. Like, oh man, if someone likes this, that means they really care about me, and that's how we have to teach our kids the difference. It's like trust me,
It's gonna be a hard battle though, because I think you're just talking about like at the core of the brain, man. Like there's a reason why the internet is addicting.
Yeah.
There's a reason why marketing and all that stuff, like they figured out how to do all that stuff to just instantly engage our minds.
Right. There's been studies that show, as we look at dogs,
it's going to be a hard fight.
Oxytocin goes up in our brain when we look at a loved one.
Is it
oxytocin goes up in our brain. There's going to be studies in that say when we stare at a screen, our oxytocin can go up, or when we log into Facebook.
Oh no, they already said like
I would bet on that.
Just the idea of getting a new notification gives you the same.
I
You're
saw
right.
that.
Yeah,
I
you're
saw
right
that
about
one. I saw that one.
Notification gives you the same
dude.
arousal.
One small thing. So I actually, I'll go to a flip phone for a while, like when I feel like I've.
When you've broken another phone.
No,
That
but
too.
by choice too. When I want to debug my brain a little bit.
Right.
And another thing I do is I turned off all of my notifications.
Man,
That's good shit, man.
So I turn off all my notifications. Like when I have time, I'll look at this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Man,
Like that's what I try to
man.
do. But I
Man.
still, dude. I mean, you just
That's good shit. Yeah, you do that.
you
though,
check
man.
your phone like this.
All
You know
the
what I mean?
time,
All day.
man.
Like something happened? No. Something happened? No.
I'm not gonna lie. Just in this conversation, I'm like, where's my phone? It's like I know it's right there. I'm like, oh
Right.
shit.
The most addicting substance on the earth, dude.
Man. Internet and pussy.
Internet and pussy, and you can find it on the internet.
Yeah.
And you can
Exactly.
find it at
So it goes back
thekindoffamouspod.com.
the
KIND.
Man.
Man, you can, it feeds our basic desires, man. For attention, you can go to it for. To
So
beat
Julian,
off.
what has
pussy.
your research so far? Jesus, come on.
Hello.
Jesus, I'm trying to pull up
Got some
something.
Taylor Swift over there?
All right. Well, we was about to hit something.
You want to say quick what my research has found so far?
Yeah.
My research basically has found, and it'll be ready for publication by the end of this year, but my research has found is just to answer overall, the more time you spend on the internet, the more you're going to develop deviant behaviors in real life.
Man, I need to get some money like this. I could have told you that without doing half the research.
Here's the thing is, though, you get a few letters behind your name in the publications, they'll take you serious. If you're a guy on the internet like Alex Jones saying conspiracy theorists, no one will believe you.
I
So.
bet Alex Jones.
Unfortunately-
Dude, hella
Get
people
more money.
believe him though.
That's true. I
Hella
take that
people
back.
believe him.
If you're convincible, people will believe you.
Yes,
though.
that's
So if
the
you're
truth.
convincible, Yeah, that's so true.
So
I'm not a convincible person. That's why I had to get a bunch of titles and education to get people to listen
Dude,
to
if
what
you
I
can,
say.
if you're charismatic, you can
Yeah.
put out a good fucking script.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like a good, entertaining, like, and hit people's emotional buttons.
right.
Jesus, dude,
Yeah.
you take over.
Yeah.
Take over.
So I'm gonna recommend something I watched, and I'm gonna put it on the show notes. The Art of Cognitive Blind Spots. It's a TED Talk, so TEDx Talk. So it's not official, but it's official enough. Pretty good conversation with Kyle Eschen. But it don't matter. You'll look. Just go to the show notes. So we're gonna wrap up. Good conversation, good debate. Like I said, I knew we would disagree somewhere.
It's
But
good.
I
It's
do
good
that
talk.
for dramatic
agreeing
effect.
to disagreeing, but we're all on the same page as this saying.
Yeah, for dramatic effect. I like that.
Yeah.
So Dave, why don't you tell us
We
where
can't
we should
just
find
gas
you?
each other up the whole damn time.
I agree, but a lot of people
Hey,
like to run
my
their show
closing
that
notes
way.
are find balance, man. Find absolute balance in your life, man. Like it's not a bad thing to want attention, but you need to be aware of why you want attention. You need to just be aware of why you are doing things, because a lot of times you're doing things on a level that is not. It's subconscious, man. And you got to really think those things out, man. Like if you're being an asshole to your girlfriend, you're doing it why, right?
Right.
There's a reason why. You know what I mean? Like if you're avoiding, people avoid stuff. I would really like to see people look into philosophy and psychology and really take a look at their brains a little
Give
more.
him what you read. Now, see, people don't know Dave can read. What you tell
I'm
them
a
what they
reader,
read?
man.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I love that. I love that. So many people need to read that don't read. Reading is key to life, man.
It's fun to mental.
Yeah.
Fun to
Read,
mental.
people, please read more. That,
What you read?
That was pretty good. I
do what I can.
I'm currently reading Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. And it's basically He talks a lot about addiction and turning pro is like making the choice and decision that like you're gonna run your life. Like you're not gonna fucking run away from. A lot of people run away from like real challenges and stuff like that. The stuff that they really want to do.
Don't like
He calls it like the amateur. The amateur is the person who lives this half-assed life where they don't really do what they want to do.
Right.
They don't really do what they want. They kind of, they can still be happy with the amateur life,
right.
but they'll never really feel fulfilled if they don't live their
Facts.
pro life.
Right.
And I read that book because I read, and it wasn't The Art of War, right? By Sun Tzu or whatever. This is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
Okay.
And it's very similar, man. Like, it's just kind of talking about like, some people have to hit bottom to find that. And like, he talks about when you turn pro, you'll never forget when you turned pro. Like when you made the switches in your head go, I'm not going to be average anymore. Like, I'm not going to just be, living this shitty way of life. I'm not just going to go through the motions anymore. Like I'm going to make a conscious objective day in and day out. So it's pretty cool.
I like that. And with that saying, people got to start doing things for themselves, not necessarily ignoring other people, but saying stop giving so much shit what people think about you. You know, and that goes back to the whole likes, you know what I mean, on Facebook and stuff. Do you. Don't mold to other people's behaviors. Don't think you got to be something else because somebody wants you. Don't behave on Facebook one way because, you know, you're supposed to be a professional, or don't, you know, tuck your shirt in because that's what everyone else is doing. Be yourself. You'll be so much happier with yourself in life.
Find value
in you. Find love in you.
I agree with
jazz music in the background now.
Find value in something other than these arbitrary numbers. Like I don't, I talk about the models, talk about all this type of, like, I see so much stuff where people are way too caught up in the amount of numbers that something got, the amount of comments, the amount of likes, the amount of shares, like all this, all that should only matter to, people that's running a business that really can find that finds equity into it because there's something being reciprocated from it that's financial. If it's not, and it's simply just an ego boost, you're looking for attention in the wrong location, looking for attention in the wrong way. Having valuable relationships, the things that I care about. I care about what my daughter feels about me, my son feels, my parents, my friends. I care about those people. Any strange person liking or not liking something I said, it means very little. And it does, as we talked about, it affects how we approach many, many things between how we interact with people. These police officers, military, all this, these are just people wearing uniforms. At the end of the day, they take that uniform off, and the things that they've went through have helped them develop how they think. If we have better experiences with each other, I think we change how we develop how we think. It could be more positive. We look at things with a more positive aspect that can change a lot. And don't let the people on the TV screen tell you how to think. Don't let the title on the article tell you what to think. Go critically look at that information. Second, resource it or source it. And if it doesn't mean anything to you, don't make it mean something to you because it means something to other people. But anyway, this is the I'm Kinda Famous podcast. KindaFamousPod.com, KINDA Famous, PodPod.com. David Rickels, you have a fight coming up when?
May 25th.
Bellator 200.
Tune in and support.
In London against Michael Venom Page.
Who that?
I'm
the most valuable primate in this motherfucking game, son.
Bars. That's what he's on now. Julian, researcher. Yeah. What's the name of the research again?
It's the internet overuse and its impact on deviant behaviors.
So we'll look for that coming up sometime in the end of the year, maybe early next year.
He just followed me around for a year, and like he's just deviant behaviors.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing but.
And how much deviance can one man do? Holy fuck! I'm at like 900 pages and pages.
Jesus. Well, I'm not reading that shit. Anyway, until next time, this is episode 56 of the I'm Kinda Famous podcast. I don't know what I'm naming. It's also on Facebook Live right now. I'll share that later, maybe. I don't know if there's any sponsors I'm supposed to say since I haven't mentioned none. But either way.
Hey, you got that people eaters collection over there.
Wow. People collecting. Oh. People collecting, clean ass people collecting. You go to the Redbubble website, or you go to KindaFamousPod.com. There's links and stuff on that. For that. Anyway, until next time, tell your mom I said hi.
So, in light of you being kind of famous,
why the hell I'm kinda famous? Who the hell she know?